It's mad to think about that we're at that point now, but at the same time, like, nothing is accidental, like, and it looks quite spur of the moment, like she's just sat in her car, it's quite casual. But actually, before she filmed that, Rachel specifically chose a dress that looked like a picnic blanket. Everything is well thought out, even if it doesn't seem like it. Rachel actually just messaged me today and said, like, using your Gen Z brain, not your marketing brain, how can we recreate this video that we did last year? Like, what's trending? And I was like, oh God, that's what I always have in the back of my head with our content. It's just, what is going to stop the scroll? Like, I think about it as a consumer as well. What's going to stop my scroll? Is this music grabbing my attention? Shall I try something else?
On today's episode, we have Taz, who's the marketing manager for Rachel Harris. She gives us the inside scoop on how they've built one of the best personal brands in the financial industry in the last 3 years. So they've gone from 8,000 followers all the way to 120,000 followers on Instagram within 3 years. So some really great stuff that we talk about today. So my name's Oliver Eardley, and this is the Eardley Bird podcast. And as always, it's sponsored by Ad People. So, how are you doing?
Good, thanks. You?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I'd love to start if you could tell us, first of all, who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Taz. I'm the social media and content lead at StriveX, and I work really closely with Rachel Harris on everything from creating TikToks in the office to researching trends and the latest tax news to make videos across all of our social media platforms.
Perfect. And I'd love to just quickly rattle off some of Rachel's stats here. I'm going to have to read them off because there's so many to talk about. But Rachel Harris, she has over 120,000 followers on Instagram, over 24,000 on LinkedIn, getting hundreds of inquiries through a business, StriveX. She's a financial columnist for the likes of Stylist, Accounting Web, as well as appears on BBC, This Morning, just other media opportunities like that, as well as obviously has a successful accounting firm, gets sponsorships for a personal brand, as well as I think the number she recently said she makes 45 grand a year just from a podcast in terms of revenue. So there's a lot of stuff to unpack there. So it'd be great to learn a bit more from you about strategy and how all of that happens.
Yeah, it's mad to think about that we're at that point now. I've been here for like 3 years, and when I started, we were around 8,000 followers on Instagram. So we both just think it's wild. Like, it's not normal to us at all either that we've got that big of an audience. But at the same time, like, nothing is accidental. Like, all of this we've worked hard for, and like everything is intentional that we've built and we've worked on, and the strategy behind it. So much goes into it. I mean, it's obviously my full-time job, and I was brought in at maybe like 10 employees. So literally everyone else was accountants when I started, and I was the only one, I still am, the only one in marketing. But I just think Rachel's believed in it so much in the beginning, how much of an impact marketing has, that we've started so much earlier than everyone else, that it's really paid off.
Yeah.
But yeah, literally everything, like her recent video about the M&S sandwich, like that went really wild on TikTok and on Instagram, and it looks quite spur of the moment, like she's just sat in her car, it's quite casual. But actually, before she filmed that, Rachel specifically chose a dress that looked like a picnic blanket to go with the sandwich. She was seeing loads of other videos where people were talking about the sandwich. It was a really hot topic. So everything is well thought out, even if it doesn't seem like it.
In terms of trends like that, then, is it something you guys sit down and discuss and think, oh, no, that'd be a great thing to jump on and do a video for? Or how does that come about?
It's hard to plan. It's hard to, like, we obviously couldn't have guessed that video would have done really well. But it is just like trial and error, trying things, seeing things. Rachel actually just messaged me today and said, like, using your Gen Z brain, not your marketing brain, how can we recreate this video that we did last year? Like, what's trending now, not in terms of marketing. And I was like, oh God, I have to scroll on my personal TikTok when I do that and be like, what are people actually talking about? Not what people are talking about in tax. So sometimes it's just thinking about what general people are consuming rather than what, like, your actual audience is consuming.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
That's interesting then. So part of what you do is almost looking outside of finance and accounting and figuring out, okay, what is just going on outside of that and what's actually interesting and trending at the moment. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not an accountant. I don't know
Yeah.
anything about, well, I do know now about finance just through like editing the videos, but I wasn't hired to like research finance trends and things like that. Obviously, I'll look things up in the news and see what we can comment on, but I feel like I'm more of that creative spark. And I think
Mhm.
that's why me and Rachel work really well together. She's kind of got that business analytical brain. And
Mhm.
then I can come in with like crazy ideas, creative ideas, something a bit different, which is what
Mhm.
works so well on social media. It's not just boring finance content.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. I'd say that's looking at what Rachel does. That is probably one of the key areas that makes it different from a lot of other sort of financial side, sort of influencer type people, is that creativity side of what you guys do. And you obviously come up with different, ideas in terms of series, and it's not all the just one-off videos and things of that sort. What do you think makes Rachel sort of different from other sort of financial sort of influencers?
I think seeing behind the scenes, both Rachel and James, like, are just insane. Like, you have to see it to see how they really are, but they just approach everything as business owners, not just
Hmm.
accountants, which is what I
Yeah.
often see, like, with loads of other practice owners. They're just running their practice like an accountant, but the whole business, they're so analytical and into the numbers. Like I say,
Hmm.
everything in their business is intentional and so detail orientated that like every single process in the business is so well thought out and improved every single time that
Hmm.
there's no way that they can succeed through doing that.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting because when I spoke to Rachel last time, like one of the key things I picked out was the level of attention to detail that she goes into and you guys go into and analyzing previous videos and figuring out, what's worked, what maybe hasn't worked before. Could you talk us through that process?
Yeah, I think it would probably sound a little bit crazy if you don't like work on social media, but such a small change can make such a big difference. I remember
Mhm.
seeing this video on TikTok where a creator showed both videos side by side, and literally all he had changed was the backing music, and one got thousands more views than the other.
Mhm.
So that's what I always have in the back of my head with our content. It's just what is going to stop the scroll? Like I think about it as a consumer as well.
Mhm.
What's going to stop my scroll? Is this music grabbing my attention? Shall I try something else? Let's repost the same video, but maybe have a different hook on screen, try
Mhm.
a different font, a different color. Like we've been working on trial reels and they're really good on Instagram, which is a new
Mhm.
feature that they've brought out. And you can just post so many reels in one day and it only goes out to new followers rather than your current audience.
Sure.
So obviously you're going to get great reach anyway because you're only being pushed out to new followers. But it
Mhm.
also means that we can post 10, 15 reels a day
Mhm.
and change something every single time and work out what is working well. So we've noticed that like red text in a block at the top of the screen saying HMRC works really well on some
Right.
reels. So then we test that and something else. And it's just trial and error really over and over again.
Perfect. And in your experience, then, what else would you say works well on these platforms?
In terms of
It could
like
be
creating content or
it could be types of content or types of specific posts or yeah, or style. It could be anything really.
I'd say just think about what you would like to see. I think that's what does
Mhm.
best for us. Like sometimes I'll watch a video and then I've like zoned out by the second half of the video and I'm like, okay, that wasn't really grabbing my attention. But
Yeah, yeah.
then I'll watch another video and like she's changing her background every couple of seconds or you're using zoom ins and zoom outs. I think it's just really about grabbing people's attention
Hmm.
and being quick and entertaining. Like with TikTok and everything turning into video content, people's attention spans are way shorter than they used to be.
Sure.
So I think everything is about grabbing attention, video content, and also utilizing what is new on the platforms. So if Instagram brings out a new feature, so for instance, trial reels they've just brought out, we're
Mhm.
making sure that we're using that as much as we can, finding out how to use it, what works well, because they're
Yeah.
going to be pushing it out. I know that TikTok recently brought out a new page for carousels.
Mhm.
So yeah, using carousels on TikTok, that's going to be pushed out. That is one really easy way to make sure that your content is going to get boosted.
Sure, that's really great advice. So looking out for any new things on these platforms, things that they're pushing out, because naturally they want to trial it themselves. They want to get it out there for other
Yeah.
people. Yeah, great advice. What would you say from the videos and stuff that you've done previously? What has flopped? What hasn't worked?
Oh, interesting. Um, what has flopped? I feel like I don't really view anything as a fail
Okay.
because I know that's a really cringe answer.
It's a cop out, but I'll let you on.
It is a cop-out answer, but like nothing has necessarily done badly. Like it might get a few lower views, but then
Mhm.
lower views isn't necessarily a bad thing. That's why it's hard to tell if something's done bad because
Sure.
maybe that actually reached more non-followers and we got someone new following us from that reel, even though it got less
Yeah.
views. We also speak about nurture content and reach content. So
Hmm.
reach content is going to be the M&S viral sandwich video is reaching loads of people
Hmm.
and getting us new followers. And then nurture content is obviously for our current followers
Hmm.
who already see our stuff but really want that high value content, that more educational financial content
Hmm.
that maybe gets less views and you might look at our page and think, oh, that video flopped. But
Mm.
actually, three of the people that commented on that reel then turned into customers of our accounting firm and
Yeah,
became
yeah.
paying clients.
Perfect. And do you have any strategy between how often you post the different type of content, or is it just how and when it comes about?
That is always changing. And people always say
Okay.
about the algorithm, and it is just constantly being adaptive. Specifically with like Instagram, we used to post every day and that was really hard to keep up with. But at that point, we were doing the same video across Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok and just reposting the same thing, which now definitely doesn't work. I would not recommend that.
Hmm.
But now we would do one video on Instagram that's quite highly polished, and then the same video might be filmed in the car to go on TikTok to look a bit more rush of the moment, and then it might be a written post on LinkedIn.
Right. Okay.
So now I think we post like 2 to 3 days a week on Instagram. You don't need to post every day at all. Whereas like LinkedIn, we post every day.
Hmm.
TikTok, you need to post as much as possible, which we don't do. But if you've got some time 1 month where you can sit down and post 3 videos a day, you're
Hmm.
guaranteed to see growth on TikTok.
Sure. So would you say that your advice across those different platforms then would be that style of post? So, obviously TikTok, you said there, a bit more spur of the moment style, obviously a bit more polished for Instagram, and then more text heavy on LinkedIn.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. TikTok is obviously they push out. So like I said, you've got to be making more content for TikTok. The kind of vibe for TikTok is, oh, I've just had this thought, picked up my phone to share with everyone. And
Sure.
that's why you can post 3 times a day. You're not going to be able to make that amount of content if you're sitting down and scripting a video. So
Hmm.
that's what TikTok pushes out. So yeah, if you have 5 minutes as a business owner and you've just had a meeting and had a really good chat with someone and that
Hmm.
gives you an idea, pick up your phone and post a TikTok. And if you can do that 3 times a day, like maybe that's the platform for you. You're going to see growth
Hmm.
there.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
if you have 2 hours blocked out to just sit down and like record scripted videos in a studio, that's going to
Hmm.
work better on Instagram for sure.
Sure. I mean, what's your thoughts on different platforms for different audiences and who you're trying to reach? I mean, I suppose maybe Rachel's target audience might be on one or the other, or is she looking to get in front of everybody? What's the goal there?
Yeah. I mean, obviously reach overall, but we do definitely have a split across socials. Our LinkedIn is more accountants and practice owners. So we kind of do content more geared towards that. Instagram is definitely our business owners or bigger business owners. And then TikTok is actually kind of what we use for recruiting. We do post our other content there and get some business owners, but on there we'll post about like working with Love Islanders or funny content of the team in the office, because
Sure.
that's where Gen Z and millennials are, and that's who we're kind of aiming to hire or are going to be applying for jobs.
Perfect. No, that makes perfect sense. So recruitment for TikTok. Interesting that you say that Instagram's where the bigger businesses are. Could you expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously for some people, I think LinkedIn is obviously it's mainly B2B, but for us, we just see a lot of accountants and practice owners from our sort of following there. Instagram, we started off as kind of more smaller businesses, and that's why Rachel actually started Accountant She, was because she was like, I feel like people are searching for their accountants on Instagram, which is what
Sure.
more and more people are doing now. They're looking for these trusted voices, and people have followed us for like 3 years and then become a client
Yeah.
because they're consuming our content and slowly building trust rather than just Googling accountants near me sort of thing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can you can find them on Instagram now. So yeah.
Perfect. No, that's great. So, what would you say as a team? Because it's only you and Rachel, really, isn't it? From a marketing standpoint, what challenges do you guys face? Just being obviously quite a small team. I'm guessing that's a challenge in itself. But what would you say is the toughest part of growing personal brand?
Yeah. I would say learning to work with Rachel, not not in a way that she's hard to work with, in a way that
Yeah.
I'm hard to work with.
Okay.
She's super analytical, super organized, and
Mhm.
I came in as this chaotic 19-year-old who was super creative and had never worked in an office or had a time schedule in her life.
Sure.
And so learning to work together like that, and I think that is actually where so many people struggle when hiring
Hmm.
marketing or social media teams, is they're hiring young people who haven't really been taught how to work or how to have a structure.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
it's always changing for us, but like we have different methods, like I have schedules or like we have loop boards to like be creative and talk to each other,
Hmm.
just trying out different things. But it has been a process where she's so analytical and number focused, and I'm a
Yeah.
bit more chaotic and forgetful some of the time.
Perfect. Yeah, on that point then, so obviously you're a bit more chaotic coming in and she's very analytical. How do you guys sort of manage time? How do you guys make sure you're staying on track? How does that all work?
Yeah, I'm definitely more analytical now. I have got better.
Good.
Um, I think just like we're very being the most efficient you can be. If you haven't got time for it, make time. We've always felt that marketing, obviously, marketing's important to me, but
Hmm.
having Rachel and James who know the value of marketing, they've
Hmm.
always set out time to give me time of day for it, train me up and help me with it. And also for Rachel, like it's a non-negotiable that she has 2 hours blocked out in her diary every Wednesday to film content. Because
Hmm.
whether it's a YouTube video or TikTok, like she's going to have to be filming something every week. And
Hmm.
that's just a non-negotiable to be consistent. If you haven't got it blocked out in your diary, if you haven't got it in your inbox, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
live by my inbox now as well.
Hmm.
That's, yeah, just the way to go, I think.
Yeah, perfect. So in terms of, let's say, the analytical side, then in terms of tracking things, how do you track the results of the different posts? How do you guys go about deciding, okay, maybe we should do that sort of post again? Talk us through that side of things.
Yeah. Um, so I feel like every month I do a board report. So that's obviously mainly where I look at the numbers
Hmm.
and literally just go through everything. How many inquiries have we had into
Hmm.
our practice? How many, like, what videos have done well? So it's looking back at that. Um, and also, we're just quite spur of the moment with it, like just constantly having the numbers in your head. I'll occasionally look at a video and be like, oh, how is this doing? But
Hmm.
not just looking at, oh, this hasn't got 10K views, it's not done well. Looking at actually, like, who is this going to? Have we had comments on it? Are people
Hmm.
booking calls?
Yeah.
That's where you need to be looking out for things as well, not
Hmm.
not just perfectly tracking it on a spreadsheet and not thinking about it. It's actually thinking about what's behind the numbers.
Yeah. Perfect. And moving forward then, just looking forward at where you guys are going, have you got any goals in mind of where you want to take the channels and or is that maybe not how you guys think? Have you got targets in mind, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, Rachel always has a North Star in mind, and we
Hmm.
obviously just want to grow. We've been doing a lot of PR recently.
Hmm.
Rachel's been in the press and the media a lot, so just
Yeah.
growing our audience and growing the brand as
Hmm.
much as we can. For me, I'd say just taking Rachel's job as much as I can, not being
Hmm.
the face of the business. Like she's always gonna be there to record content, but I want her to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
able to have as much time as possible to just have her business brain and not have to be in marketing. Like if I can
Yeah,
take
yeah.
over all the strategy and all the thinking and just say, here's a script for you to film a video and that's all she has to do,
Hmm.
then I feel like I've succeeded.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. On that PR point, then, that's obviously something you guys have been doing quite heavy the last 3 or 4 months. Talk us through your thoughts behind why you guys thought that was a good route for you, and then how you go about doing it as well.
Yeah. I mean, one of Rachel's North Stars was to sort of have her own show, like DIY SOS, but finance, or like her
Sure.
be a dragon on Dragon's Den.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just kind of getting to that North Star, and also just the goal all along has been helping people in finance and making financial content more accessible. So I feel like it's all
Hmm.
just part of that wider goal.
Sure.
So yeah, we've just really been slamming it, like pitching as much as we can, and then we
Hmm.
kind of got a few pieces and a few interviews for Rachel, and then once we had a few, we were just like, oh my gosh, it's all just working.
Snowball.
It's working by itself. I don't really have to do
Yeah, yeah.
anything anymore because our
Hmm.
name's got out there. So it's clearly useful for getting your name out there.
Perfect. So really, it's just that initial work just to get some TV
Yeah.
shows to want to feature, and then it snowballs on from there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she
Perfect.
she did an interview on Sky, and then we got like emails from different press contacts and things like that, and it just snowballed. We got so much more from that, so that's really good.
Perfect. Last question around content is in terms of planning content, is it a joint effort between you and Rach, or is there like how do you guys go about doing that?
Yeah. So I actually am KPI'd to fail. So every Friday I have fail time, which is just time where I try and get out of my inbox, get out of the actual work, and
Hmm.
just see what's working online, see what's working for other people,
Hmm.
scroll, be creative, things like that. So every Friday I try and get some new ideas, even if it's just like a good hook for socials or
Hmm.
like the other week I saw that there was going to be heat waves. So I sent a screenshot of like the Met Office report and said, can you green screen over this and do a video about expensing a fan?
Hmm.
Like just looking at things
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. It's quite spur of the moment for me. So I'll send things like that. And but I guess that's kind of more the time sensitive content in that sense. And
Hmm.
then overall, we always have a massive list of content ideas or
Hmm.
things that work well for content that we can film at any time, and
Sure.
also redoing content that works well. So we might have done a written post that went viral that we've then posted 3 or 4 times since then, that we might
Hmm.
have filmed or filmed in a different location, so people might not realize it's the same video, but we're
Sure.
just reusing it over and over again.
Perfect. That's great. So you have those spirit, obviously you got your creative hour or two on a Friday where you can think of new, maybe spur of the moment ideas, and then you've got a
Yeah.
long list of stuff to go back to and record if and when you want to get around to them.
Yeah.
Perfect. Love that. So last thing I want to talk about is if someone, let's say another accountant, wanted to build a personal brand, what would be your sort of top bits of advice for them?
If it was an accountant or even a business owner that is not really used to having socials, I would absolutely say schedule time to be creative. Like
Hmm.
even now that I'm like working at my desk a lot of the time or using ChatGPT to write emails, like I can get stuck in that rut of just working. But
Sure.
if you can schedule time, block out 2 hours, go to a coffee shop, go to a park, go somewhere else and like just have a change of scenery,
Hmm.
and you'll be shocked at how many ideas you'll get, just scrolling, and just be a consumer as well. see
Yeah.
what works well for other people, and then how can you apply that to yourself and your own business and your own brand.
Perfect. I think that's a great bit of advice. So yeah, I think that's a great place to wrap it up, Taz. I think we got a load of good bits of advice in there for people from a personal brand perspective. If people want to follow you, have a chat to you at any point, how should they go about doing that?
Yeah, they can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm Tamzin Allinson, or on TikTok, I'm at Life Bites with Taz.
Perfect. Well, appreciate your time, Taz. Hopefully we'll jump on at another point as well.
Amazing. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you could do us a huge, huge favor and like and subscribe, it allows us to get you more amazing guests, as well as share more practical tips on how you can grow your business online. If you are looking to grow your business online, then Ad People are here to help. They offer free, no obligation consultations that allows you to speak to more people who know what they're talking about. Simply email consult@adpeople.co.uk or see the link in the description. Other than that, I'll see you next time.